morning and welcome to College and Career Ready Night. You are currently attending the Health Science Pathway Zoom. So hopefully that's the one you wanted to attend. If you're in the wrong Zoom, now is a good time to just hop right out and you can go back to the regular or the link for the other Zoom that you wanted to attend. Just wanted to let you know that we have a wonderful group of talented and experienced panelists here to speak to you tonight. We have our teachers, we have our students, we have our dual credit partners, and we have our medical professionals here to speak with you and answer some questions if you have some at the end. So we're excited to do that. Just to introduce myself, I'm Dawn Francis. I am the Math and Science Division Head at Hersey High School. I've worked at Hersey teaching biology for, oh my goodness, 25 years I've been in the district. So it's my pleasure to be able to moderate this conversation with you all tonight. So to get started, I'm just going to share a few of the slides that we have here to give you some background information. And as I do that, you'll see a couple of our panelists' names that are listed here, and you'll see what organizations they're from and what schools they are affiliated with. And here are our students. And our students have a wide array of experiences as well that they're going to be able to share with you. And students watching, these are students that you can do something similar to what they get to do now. And what I'm going to point out to you here is our Career Pathways Handbook. So District 214 has a really wonderful, and I will tell you when I go to meetings, people are jealous of how wonderful our pathway system is set up here in our district. And I'm talking about people from other schools, of course. But this is an example of our nursing pathway and the courses that you can take over your across your 4 years of school here in District 214. So we have an introduction to healthcare course. We also have exercise physiology running at a couple of the different schools. You have an introductory second year course paired with a medical terminology course. And then we also have some schools offer human physiology paired with that. Other schools offer human physiology further down the pathway. So human phys is available at many of our schools, not just Buffalo Grove. We have a CNA course that is a fantastic experience for all of our students who have been able to get that certification. It allows them to work in the field and prepare for future health career positions as they go. We also have college human anatomy phys. And then in your senior year, some of our students are doing middle college health careers, and there are different apprenticeships the students can be a part of as well. But there's a lot of other opportunities beyond just that. And so if you look beneath those courses listed at the top, you'll also see the core graduation requirements that we ask our students to also, take seriously so they can get into whatever post-secondary coursework and qualify for all of those courses and colleges and programs that they want to get into after they graduate, if that's their choice. So that one's nursing. Our second one that we have for you today is pre-med, so pre-medicine. You'll see there's similar courses in that pathway. A lot of our students who want to go into medicine also are doing the CNA training and getting that certification and using that for their patient experiences, which gives them a leg up in getting into medical school. In this course pathway, you'll see in the year 12, so in your senior year, you can take the Medical Science Academy course, and that's just a different piece, from the nursing pathway. But again, if you're in the nursing pathway, you can also take like AP Chemistry that's listed on there, or AP Biology. We have a large number of students who do all of those. And then this is lastly, let me leave that up for just one more second because I feel like I didn't give it as much time as the nursing one. But you'll also see those same core courses are listed there beneath that. And then you can look at this for any career pathway. So these are two in the health science pathway, but we obviously have different ones for med tech and different post-secondary ending points. So if you're looking for any of these resources, we'll send out links after this presentation today to all of the guests that we have here. But you can always find these on our District 214 website. So if you go to it right now, you could Google it. Obviously, you don't want to leave us. But this is the District 214 Academic Pathways and Programs Guidebook. You click on that last link there under academics, and those lovely children that you see on the right-hand side there will pop up, and you can download it. It's a very, very long PDF, and you can actually just find and look for the different coursework you're looking for. And there's a nice table of contents too, but there are many, many pages because there's so many different opportunities here in District 214. So as long as I'm done with all that, I'm going to get to introducing our panelists. I'm actually going to have them introduce themselves. So the panelists are going to go ahead. They're going to go ahead and introduce themselves as they are listed on our screen here. So I'll leave the list up so we can see that. Rita, are you ready? And unmuted?
Good
Oh,
afternoon,
wonderful.
or actually, can you hear me, everybody? Yep.
Yes, we
All
can.
right. Good evening,
Go ahead.
everybody. My name is Dr. Rita Gura. I am the Dean of Health Careers at Harper College, and I'm a physical therapist by trade. So, welcome.
Oh, Lisa's not going to be able to be here. Dr. Lind, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Lind. I'm a general dentist in Buffalo Grove, right across the street from the high school there, a proud graduate of Hersey, and I hope I can answer some questions for you guys today.
Hi, my name is Therese Coughlin. I'm a registered nurse at Resurrection Medical Center. I am a Prospect grad.
And my name is Beth Brosnan. I used to work at Resurrection Medical Center, so perhaps our paths have crossed. I'm a CNA instructor in the district. I also teach medical terminology, and I'm the teacher for the medical academy that Ms. Francis mentioned.
Hi, I'm Tiffany Kupkowski. I also teach at Rolling Meadows High School. I teach medical terminology, and I've also taught the first year of the pathway.
My name is Laura Tomesco. I started as a CNA at 16 myself, and then I've been in the district for 3 years right now as a CNA instructor. And I got my master's in education as well, so I can teach human physiology, and I did PE as well.
Students, you ready?
Hi, my name is Joyce. I'm currently an intern at Northwest Community Hospital, and I'm also in Med Academy. I've been in the health science pathway since my freshman year.
Safa was unable to join us earlier. Safa, have you hopped on since? I don't think so. Okay, Michael, you ready?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Michael Piagari. I'm a senior at Prospect High School. Right now I'm participating in the D214 CNA apprenticeship program, where I work at Northwest Community Hospital on the rehabilitation unit as a CNA.
Hi, I'm Mahek Goyal. I'm a senior at Buffalo Grove High School. Currently, I'm a student at the Medical Science Academy, as well as a pharmacy tech intern at Jewel Osco.
Wonderful. So we have a great panel for all of you. So I get to go ahead and chat with everybody, but I'm going to start off tonight with, how about we start off with one of our community partners. So how about, and Therese, I apologize. It looks like your name had a typo on there. So I just want to point that out. I know it's Therese, not Teresa. So Dr. Lind, and how about Teresa? Why don't we talk a little bit about, maybe Dr. Lind, can we start with you? How about describe for our students and for any of our parents on here, what does a typical day look like for you? Like, what does your job look like for students who have no idea what it is to be you?
So dentistry in general is kind of the best of both worlds when it comes to medicine, because you get to treat your patients, but you also get to use your artistry and your personal skills, and you develop relationships with patients that no other doctors really have. Like, we see them 2-3 times a year. You know all their family, their kids, you know what's going on. Typical day, you see about 8 to 10 patients, a couple cleanings in there you get to check, but you take people out of pain, or you give them a nice smile. It's a very rewarding profession. So it's usually about like 6-7 hours. You only have to work 4.5 days a week. It is it's a profitable business also. So one of the best jobs in the world for sure.
All right, Therese, can you answer that same question? Like, what's a typical day look like for you?
Yeah, for sure. One thing that's really amazing about nursing and that drew me to, kind of pursue this career is the flexibility and all the different opportunities that are kind of available to you. I've worked in 3 specialties since becoming a nurse in 2017. I'm currently working in ambulatory surgery, which it's 5 days a week, 8-hour shifts, ranging from early morning to like mid-afternoon starts, interacting with patients, interacting with surgeons. Patient care is one of my favorite parts of being a nurse. But there are opportunities to be in like more of a clinical or research type of position. But yeah, interacting with patients, their families, interacting with the team. is really, I think it's the best part of being a nurse. There's a lot of flexibility kind of with your schedule. If you work in like a typical hospital role, you could work 3/12s either during the day or during nighttime, which leaves you 4 days off, which is also very lucrative for lots of people. So it's a great profession.
Great, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Let's go over to Rita just for a quick second, one of our dual credit partners. Rita, can you just talk to us a little bit about what are the classes that you teach over at Harper that our students can get involved in? And how could it maybe lead to ending up being a doctor or a nurse?
Sure. So I've actually taught a number of the dual credit courses that we have at Harper. For those of you who may not know what dual credit is, so basically a student who's enrolled in D214 and some of our other district partners as well can take some of the coursework here at Harper while they're still in high school. So we have a number, many of our prerequisite courses to get in the majority of our health careers programs are offered in terms of dual credit. So examples would be like our SOC 101, our Psych 101. We have a first year seminar, medical terminology. And then probably the big ones are our Bio 260, which is human anatomy, and then human physiology, which is everybody's favorite courses. So there's definitely a number of them related to health careers, but then we also do have a number of courses that aren't necessarily related to health careers that are also available to students in 214.
All right, great. Thank you so much. So we have a number of our teachers on here, and some of them teach the dual credit courses as well. So Tiffany, why don't we start with you? I know you teach some of the intro level courses. Anything that you would think that you would like, what's a good experience? What do you want to get out of the Intro to Healthcare 1 course, for instance? Like, what do you hope your students learn from that class, and what kinds of experiences would a student have that took that class for the first time?
So I think the first year, the major goal is to introduce students to the wide variety of careers in healthcare, because all of us, I think, immediately think doctor, nurse, and there's hundreds of careers. So we bring in speakers from so many different areas, so students realize what are all the possibilities. And that first year gives them a foundation of career exploration. They start some of the medical terminology. At Rolling Meadows, it looks a little bit different because we also do PE now with exercise physiology. So there's a focus of body systems related to physical education. Second year medical terminology is we take what Harper does. Students have to pass a test at the end, the Harper exam, to get credit at Harper. And the goal is for students to become literate in the language of medicine. So whatever profession they go into, they'll be able to decipher that medical terminology. That jargon all of a sudden becomes a lot easier to understand. And year 2 continues with the health career speakers, with field trips, just trying to let students know what's available, and also let students know early on, do I like this? Because if they don't like it year 1 and 2, then they can, off-ramp the pathway as well.
All right, great. We also have 2 of our CNA instructors on, and I know Ms. Brosnan does some extra other courses beyond that. So maybe Laura and Beth, do you want to talk a little bit about, what do our students learn in CNA? What kind of opportunities does getting that certification give them? I don't know who wants to start. Sorry.
Okay, so I was an instructor at Prospect and BG, and I'm very blessed that the 3 students on the panel have been my students or are my students as well. What is amazing about CNA is the experience that you can get. So you can be 16, 17, or 18. It is a dual college credit class offered via Harper College. Students will get 6 hours of college credit, 4 for the first semester, 2 for the second. At that time, students will learn 21 basic nursing assistant skills where they will have practice in class for a lab. And then that second semester, they'll be able to go to clinical, where they will be able to use that hands-on training that they receive for 40 hours of clinical experience. With that, this is a great opportunity. A lot of my students that are on here have actually become certified nursing assistants, where they have sat for the state exam and have already gotten jobs, which I absolutely love as a 16-year-old myself, getting a job and getting that experience. And these students have all different backgrounds, and they can explain that with physical therapy. Some are interested in nursing, physician's assistants. We have dentists that are there. we have all areas of interest in healthcare. It's just directly not nursing students that are in, doctors as well. And you need a lot of that clinical experience, and it creates that interaction with patients, communication, and that first experience on the floor. And that's where you actually learn the most in any form of a healthcare is hands-on training. So the students get that time. It's a great also to put on their resume. Direct admission into programs a lot of my students have had, and then it gives them a jump start onto their careers of whatever their interests, and realizing maybe something that they thought was an interest might not possibly be, and shift to something else from their experience.
Yeah, great. That's a great explanation, Laura. The other part of it is it exposes students in the real world to other occupations that are out there. So maybe they didn't know what a speech therapist was. Maybe they've never seen a radiology tech, a phlebotomist. Some of the programs Harper offers are 2-year programs. So we want to expose them in the healthcare field and find out, even if you're thinking of being a dentist, can you brush somebody else's teeth? Well, we do that. And then, like Ms. Tomesco mentioned, many of the programs require hands-on patient care. So you're getting a jump start with your 40 hours of clinical that will look good for your physical therapy application or your physician's assistant application. I also worked as a CNA in high school, and I sometimes feel like I learned as much in my CNA job as I did in my 4 years of college and nursing school.
I can only imagine. You never know, right? You're experiencing so many different people and incidences and all kinds of patients. And so students, I'd like to get to you all for a quick second, since Ms. Tomesco just mentioned all of you, and we're happy to have you here. And I don't want to pick which one of you goes first, but can you tell us about your experiences at your District 214 school, and what classes that you took that really helped you get where you are today, and maybe something about the unique coursework and experiences you've had outside of class in different facilities. Anybody want to go first? Joyce, do you want to start us off? I'll call on you.
I think the most helpful was definitely CNA. Having that last year was very eye-opening for me, because I wasn't sure where I wanted to go in healthcare, and it's just I had that hands-on experience in those clinicals, and I never thought I would be interested in nursing, but now that's definitely something that I'm thinking of and doing. So that's what has really helped me.
Joyce, can I ask you, are you looking at, I know seniors are all, so people on this panel who don't know, seniors are all applying for colleges this month. It's a really, really busy month for them. They're trying to get all their applications in. So Joyce, do you have any plans for next year?
Yes, I'm applying to multiple nursing programs, and I'm hoping to get direct admitted into the nursing school. Because I know Ms. Tia said that being in or having the CNA experience is a very good aspect to have on your resume, especially for those difficult, rigorous programs.
Excellent. Michael, do you want to talk a little bit about what you're up to that's unique?
Yeah. So Mrs. T was my teacher, and she has a lot of connections. So there were multiple times that I went to her just because I had questions about what I wanted to do in the future. Initially coming into high school, I didn't have any plans of being in healthcare, but sophomore year, I made the change from the business, maybe engineering category into the health science category. And so I took the CNA course last year, and Mrs. T helped me find something that I enjoyed, which was physical therapy. And so she gave me connections that I could contact. And I just, ever since working at the hospital, I work on the rehab floor, like I mentioned before, and I'm working with a lot of the therapists, like speech therapists, occupational therapists, and physical therapists. So I'm really exposed to how they're working during the day while I'm working on my shift. And so physical therapy has really solidified what I want to do in the future.
Excellent. All right. Mike, you want to tell us what you're up to?
Yeah, sure. So I'm on the other side of this. I'm currently taking CNA, and I can already tell how much I'm gonna learn. Just in these like 2 or 3 months, I've learned a lot of skills, and that's what I love about CNA. Is that you get to be like really hands-on just in the classroom and with your friends and everything. And in addition to that, with Med Academy, I feel like taking that course really like helps you understand the rigor of just future classes you could take at college. And so I think that really puts into perspective, like if this is something you'd want to do, you know, continue college, maybe post grad, graduate school, and everything like that. So I think doing dissections and getting hands-on experience and going to the lab and everything like that as part of both CNA and Med Academy has given me a lot of knowledge on what I wanted to do. So yeah, I'm really grateful to be part of that.
Can you tell everybody how you get into Med Academy? Like, how did you? What's the process?
Yeah, so there are a couple of prerequisites you have to take, such as a few baseline courses like science classes, honors chemistry, all that stuff. Maybe even some human physiology and college terminology classes. But there's also an application project process where you fill out an application, complete a couple of essays, just why you want to do medicine, what interests you about the course, what you want to be when you grow up, or just an idea. And with that, they just accept you. And I mean, I truly think it's a really, really valuable course. And I'm really grateful to be a part of it. Yeah.
Great. Hey, Safa just joined us. Safa, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but we're talking to students right now. And we're just kind of talking about what courses you've taken and what's been like your best experience with the healthcare pathway at your school. Do you mind introducing yourself and telling us what you've been able to do?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a junior at Buffalo Grove High School, and I was in the exercise physiology class last year. And then this year I'm in the human physiology and med terminology class. And I've really learned a lot about healthcare, and I've really asserted that I've want to go into it, especially in college. But I think my most valuable experience in healthcare is doing the internships through D214. So I did one over the summer, which I found myself, but through the district and talking to my counselors, I did get school credit for, where I did it at Northwestern Medicine Lake Forest Outpatient Center, where in the morning I would work in the OR and recovery with the nurses, and I got to do a lot of patient interaction and kind of learn the ins and outs of the hospital. While in the afternoon, I would see the business side of things by working in supply chain. And then I also had a fall internship that I'm doing right now at Northwest Community Hospital with guest services.
What kinds of things have you been able to do at your internships? I know some students think about it and they're not sure, but can you just give us like some examples of some of the patient interaction you've been able to have?
Yeah, so while I was in the summer, I feel like that was my most valuable patient interaction. I worked with a lot of different cases. So we mostly saw plastic surgery cases there and eye surgeries. And I would work just to give them like warm towels, making them comfortable, kind of talking through the patient, especially when they're in a lot of pain coming out of surgery in the PACU. And I would give them, some like moist towels. And I got to see that I loved like the patient interaction the most. And I mean, of course, I also had to do some of the not as fun work. Like I did have to, make beds and like, organize things. But I also thought that was valuable too, seeing on that side too.
Great answer. Thank you. Oh, you just joined, so it's good. I'd like to go back to Dr. Lynn and to Ms. Coughlin. And could we talk to you guys a little bit about what classes did you take in your preparation for your current profession? And like, do you have any great advice for these wonderful students on how to get further along in their careers?
So these kids are so fortunate to have this school district, because when I was there, well, we had chalkboards, but we had our electives were physiology, or not physiology, were psychology or sociology or world history. That's it. So you guys have so much to choose from. That's wonderful. So I went to U of I after Hersey and majored in biochemistry. So for obviously when you want to be going to the medical field, you just want to hit every science class you possibly can. So when you get into med school, when you get into dental school, you're retaking classes. So you're already familiar with the stuff that's on there. You take histology, you take the biologies, the biochemistries, the microbiologies, heavy loads of that in college, because then it makes the dental school, the med school so much easier. Although everyone has done that, but it takes the stress off when you've got some background, for sure.
I agree. You guys are so lucky, and it's such a benefit to you to be getting a head start, especially like with medical terminology. That's a whole other language. So having a basis for that before you even take like a college course is huge. You'll have a leg up from the other students. There weren't as many like courses, like dual courses to take during high school when I was at Prospect, or at least not that I was aware of. But there was the Harper CNA course. I didn't end up taking advantage of that. I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do, with my college experience. I ended up going to St. Louis University, which was a direct admit nursing school, which, Joyce, I think that's a great idea. That will be nice to just already be in nursing school by the time, you're starting courses. But CNA experience is invaluable when you're becoming a nurse. I completely agree. You learn so much, especially being on that end of it. You get to see kind of both sides of it, the nursing aspect and as a nurse's aide. So I think just any type of courses that you're taking to get familiar with it, because medicine can be very confusing and sometimes convoluted. So I think that these programs are really great to kind of, and any credits you can get going into college is absolutely excellent to kind of give you a leg up and maybe open up some more opportunity for you to take different types of classes, like language classes, to kind of offload some of your course requisites, things like that.
Thank you. Dr. Gurk, can you tell us, what kind of majors can students take at Harper? Specifically, like what are some good, like I'm just bouncing off this conversation idea. I'm trying to think like, what other ideas do you have at Harper specifically for our students?
Yeah, sure. So we do, so we have obviously our nursing program. We have a CNA, PN, and then also RN here at Harper. But in addition, we have a number of allied health programs. So we have our dental hygiene program, our diagnostic cardiac sonography, diagnostic medical sonography, physical therapist assistant, sterile processing, surgical technician, health and information technology. There are a ton. And I think that the reason I'm listing them is because, as was mentioned earlier, a lot of times we don't even know that these professions exist. So I think that that's important. However, I also do want to mention that there are a number of professions that you wouldn't necessarily be able to complete at Harper. And I'm looking at Michael right now because we were on just a call the other day with each other, and I'm a physical therapist. So people always come to Harper and they ask me the question of, well, I want to be a physical therapist. Can I take stuff at Harper? And the truth of the matter is that we do have those transfer degrees as well. So there are a number of students that we have here who are in our physical therapist assistant program, but then we also have students who are in our kinesiology transfer program who are prepping to be able to go on and get their bachelor's degree and then ultimately their doctorate in physical therapy or in medicine or whatever that is. So while we do have a number of allied health careers that you can graduate from here with, we also do have some of those transfer programs available here too that you can kind of move on. Because I'm sure everybody's looking at the cost of college right now. And, you can get some of these for much less than you would at another school. So. Lots of
You-
opportunities.
Yes, and I wanted you to just add a couple more things. Can you give us a time frame estimate? I know, like, how long does it take a student, for parents and students who have no idea,
Yeah.
how long does it take to complete the nursing program at Harper? How long would it take maybe to complete one of the tech programs that you talked about?
Absolutely. So the majority of our programs, since we are an associate's level school, our programs are 2 years. Now, I will be honest in telling you that many of our programs, so for instance, our physical therapy assistant program, our dental hygiene program, and our nursing program, there are prerequisites that need to be taken. So it could extend the program more than those 2 years. But many of those prerequisite courses can be taken as dual credit while you're in high school. So I actually have a District 214 student. I'm the chair of our physical therapist assistant program as well, who is graduating with her physical therapist assistant degree this December, who is 19 years old and will be graduating making $58,000 a year. And that is huge. And that really speaks volumes of this dual credit opportunity that we have. Because she completed almost every dual credit course that was available to her, knowing that this is what she wanted to do. So when she graduated, she was here and completed the program in 2 years. So
That's amazing and wonderful. Our CNA students and our CNA teachers. I had one of my a student I worked closely with last year worked as a CNA during her senior year of high school, and I know she made a lot of money. And I don't mean to be crass, but I don't know that parents and students know what you can make an hour being a CNA and what kinds of hours you might have being a CNA. Would one of you be able to answer that question? It can be anyone, teachers or students.
I can answer that.
Thank you, Mike.
So I'm also a student athlete, so I had to work around the hours of the hospital. Hours of the hospital are 7 to 3:30, 3 to 11:30, and 11 to 7:30. So I'm only available to work on Sundays, and I do get paid for the apprenticeship. And I think CNAs get paid anywhere from maybe 17 to 25 starting. So I think it's decent pay for a student that wants to become a CNA, but also as a student athlete, I have to work around sports, and it really helps your communication skills with your coaches, with your teachers, maybe if you're falling behind in a class, and it also helps your communication skills with your manager at work. So I think that's a really great opportunity.
I might also add that we've probably all heard of travel nurses. There are now travel nursing assistants because there's such a shortage. There's a shortage in just about every area of healthcare. One of my students that did middle college and did an internship would often work 48 hours a week because they were so short-staffed. She was able to work extra for them. So there's always opportunities, and you don't necessarily have to work at a hospital. You could do home health. You could work at a nursing home. There's lots of different places that you could work, which is kind of nice too.
All right, that's a good one. How about, we're getting close. We have about 10 minutes left. So I just want to make sure that I'm getting to everybody and making sure that we didn't miss any major topics. I think one of the things I did want to ask, and students, you kind of talked about this a little bit, but we talk about the work-based learning experiences we have here in our schools. I know some of your schools have different kinds of clubs. I know like Hersey has a Scrubs Club that's pretty popular. I know we all have different names for some of those clubs, but have there been any experiences, students, that you've had with, like a guest speaker that has come in, or some kind of maybe not necessarily a field trip, but maybe you've gone and done some things outside of the school setting in your work-related experience that has changed the direction of what you thought you wanted to do, or maybe just given you a little bit more insight, or maybe even made you not want to do a certain part of the health pathway that you thought you might want to do?
I can answer that. So me and Joyce are actually captains of the Discover Healthcare Club that's at our school, and it's really based on just getting guest speakers and involving everyone in experiences regarding the healthcare field. I know we got like a geneticist, a speech pathologist. Just last week, we got a physical therapist in, and I think what I love about the club specifically is just like how many different careers we can like get, and like how many different careers there are in the medical field. And along with that, we also do a lot of activities. Just recently we did like an activity on like creating muscles out of like just household items, arts and crafts stuff. We have dissections going on. We had our first meeting about that. And then I know for some of our science classes, we go to field trips to cadaver labs, or get to interact with animals. So it's just really multifaceted. And I mean, just within a lot of clubs, we get to like see a lot of different careers that are just more than the doctor nurse pathway. So that was really valuable.
Thank you.
I
That's
can-
glad I asked that question because you lead that team. So that's wonderful. I know some of the other schools have had stop the bleed training come in, and they have different, like they've had doctors come in and train our students on just how to use different equipment. And that's been wonderful as well. So we have a large group of attendees. We have like about 50 people right now. So if anyone out there has any questions for our panelists that you'd like to add to the chat, feel free to add those, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. One of the questions has been, they're asking if they're curious if any of you have taken human anatomy and physiology, both with or without the cadaver. And they said that's the most failed course in higher education. So have any of you been able to take that class yet?
Is this the medical academy?
Yes.
Yes. Mahek and I.
Have you had a cadaver lab at all? Were you?
Yes. We see that like.
How'd it go?
Yeah, it's.
Or is it-
I think it's really interesting. Seeing the cadaver lab and like getting to actually like practically see human anatomy and like being able to describe it on an actual human body is so important. And for it being the most failed course, I think it's going well so far. Speaking for myself, and I think with lots of support, like Ms. Brosnan is very helpful with like lots of study material and studying tips. At Harper, we have the anatomy study lab, and that's a really important part of it. Going there at least once a week is very helpful, and I think I would suggest that for anyone who would take this course. Yeah, as much as support as you can get, based on like how much you study and how to study. There are people who are available at Harper who can help. So yeah.
I'm not seeing any other questions hopping in right now, but folks, feel free to add them to the chat. Any panelists, do you have anything else that you'd like to add that we didn't get to that you want to share?
I would just reinforce how valuable it is for the exposure for getting the dual credit. And then we take students on field trips to Harper, how amazing the facilities at Harper truly are. They're unbelievably impressive. And if students, they could just go and get a phlebotomy certificate after getting medical terminology. I don't know, Dr. Gura, exactly how long that would take. I can't remember, but not long at all. And students can start working. And then in addition to that, it's, you know, the nice thing about they're not choosing a major their freshman year in high school. And I think sometimes people are concerned about that. This is such a great way to show students maybe this isn't for you, which is a success as well. So they don't go through high school and college thinking I want to be a something in health career and then later realize, wow, I just wasted a lot of effort, time, and money doing something I might not want.
And to piggyback off that too, having these students, and I think that they could share that as well, the confidence, and so proud to see them, the confidence, the leadership, the roles that they have, and growth is just absolutely amazing. And both of all three of the students that I've had have been absolutely amazing too. And the leadership in the Discover Health is like phenomenal. And like Michael as well. I mean, I think that they would be able to see how much they've grown and their confidence, right?
All right, we have a couple other questions. So here's one. It says, I'm a freshman currently taking exercise physiology. I want to be a dentist. What would be the pathway? What recommendations, teachers, do you think would be the right classes for the student?
So I also think CNA for this one, because you need to know if you can relate to people. Can you touch them? Are you okay with body fluids? Are you able to make small talk, as well as some of the science classes that the students have mentioned?
And definitely medical terminology, I think as well would help. Dr. Lind, I think you could probably speak to this as well, but having that,
Yeah.
literacy, and it gives you that step up and you're not rote memorization of terms.
I can't speak to the actual classes that you should be taking in the pathway, but the other thing you'd be wanting to do is get into the field. Go to a lab and see if you can work part-time there. Talk to your orthodontist, see if you can, shadow there or shadow at your dentist. Get yourself in the field to make sure this is something you really want. See how we interact with patients and see how the day goes. But yeah, get into a lab, get in an orthodontist office or dentist office to make sure this is something you really like.
All right, I just want to reinforce, Rita said that it's one semester for the phlebotomy certificate. So I just want to make sure everyone saw that. Another question came in. What class do you take to get the CNA job?
For our classes, we do the whole career pathway that we have, starting with that exercise phys freshman year often, and based on school as well, like making sure that we do that human physiology as well as med terminology is critical. Then usually about junior years, the CNA, it's called College Nursing Assistant Training Program. That's what it's listed under. But all those classes prior establish that to get you into that next level of students taking AP Biology, possibly senior year, as well as Med Academy and Human Anatomy and Physiology, as well as Harper. So those are some of the aspects of the pathway that we utilize in our school.
Great. All right, I think we've gotten to all the questions that I can see in the chat. And we're getting close on time. I do know there's another session coming up this evening, but we'll be here to answer questions for the next 5 minutes or so. So if anyone else wants to add a question, or if any of our panelists want to add anything, that's great. But I do want to thank every single person who is attending this chat right now. I want to thank all of our panelists. From the bottom of my heart, this is such a wonderful experience. I'm so proud of our students and our teachers and our community members who are willing to be supportive of this program. The health science pathway in our district is quite large and vibrant. We have a very large number of students that want to go into the health science pathway. So we're really proud of that. And we're also really fortunate that we have so many folks involved. So thank you. And I'm looking right now. There's another question that just popped in. What is the difference between dual credit classes and AP classes? Anyway, I can answer that because I'm a division head. So if you just, I can touch this one if you guys want me to. So dual credit are classes that we offer with a college partner. And in District 214, we actually have a large number of college partners. Harper is one of them. Eastern Illinois University is one of them. Lewis University. We have many, many for all of our different career pathways to allow our students to have all these different opportunities. When you take a dual credit class, you take the course, you complete the course, you do have to take final exams that are coordinated with the college, and then you will get a grade from that course. With an AP course, that's a little bit different. You have to take the AP exam associated with the College Board at the end of the school year. And so then you'll get a score on that AP exam. So every college is slightly different in how they take the dual credit and how they take the AP scores and how many hours they will count for that. Some schools are very elite and they will not take any AP credit, right? But in some schools in the state of Illinois, they give you credit for a 3 or higher on an AP exam. So I think most students would probably agree with me that the AP exam at the end of the year in May is a pretty high stakes exam, and that's nationally normed. So that's where you get your AP credit from. The college credit kind of comes from that score. A dual credit class, your score, there's no real score on that one exam. You have the body of work from the entire semester to give you that grade at the end of the year. I think that answers that question. But if anyone wants to add, feel free. All right. Anything else? We're happy to stay on and answer questions. If you're all done, you can hop off and go to your next session at 6:45. Thanks to everybody. Oh, we have a raised hand from Mohammed. Kelly, are we able to call on individual students if they're not adding to the chat? Or individual guests?
I don't believe, but let me look.
Are we not turning? I don't think we're turning cameras on, panelists. So if you could add your question to the chat, we can answer it that way. So Mohammed and Elizabeth, if you want to add your question to the chat, we'll be happy to answer it.
Okay, I can tell you what the question is.
Oh,
Mohammed
yeah, sure.
asks, what classes are required for becoming a doctor?
Oh, okay. Dr. Lynn, do you want to answer that one?
I wouldn't really be able to be accurate about that. What I would recommend would be get as much science class as you can, get the physiology and anatomy class. That's the key. That's the killer when you get to dental school or med school. It's hard. So if you can take it in high school, you can take it again in college before you get to med school or dental school. That's the key. That's the killer class.
And then there was another question from Elizabeth. She asks, how do you get internships at dental offices and what age does this happen at?
Wait, can we jump in about the Mohammed's question about the medical school? And I see Dr. Gura. Did you want to add to that? I had something I'll add to.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's
Tiffany,
finish
you
that
wanna
one
go-
and then we'll answer the next one. Sure.
Tiffany, if you want to go first, you can. Otherwise, I can go ahead.
I think there's zero guarantee you'll get into medical school by taking the health science pathway. It's such a great, it's an excellent thing to do in high school, but to get into medical school, you have to finish high school, you have to finish a 4-year of college, then you take a test called the MCAT and you apply to get into medical school. So there's really, there are some students who major in, not being like political science. There have been people who major in art and become doctors when they major in undergrad. It's just as Dr. Lind was saying, majoring in science is more typical because it will help you in medical school or dental, but there's really nothing you're going to do in high school that's going to determine if you can eventually get into medical school, because those are post 4-year undergrad application processes.
Yeah, I was just going to add that's the same for dental school, for physical therapy school, for most of the programs that require a master's or a doctorate. But what I will tell you is the courses that you take in high school that are related to healthcare will prepare you for the heavy anatomy and physiology and science and math that you should be taking in undergraduate in order to then apply to med school. So they will better prepare you. And so you'll be seeing the information likely for the second time. The other thing that I will mention is that while yes, you can take, get any major in undergraduate and still go on to med school or dental school, basically what's going to happen is they are going to look to see if you have prerequisite courses to be able to get into those schools. And those prerequisite courses are going to fall heavily in the math and science category. Unfortunately, I think Mohammed was out of the room when we answered that question though. So if he needs us to answer again, we can.
All right, how about we get to the internships question about the dental office? So how do you get an internship at a dental office and what age can you do that?
Get on the phone and start calling. COVID kind of ruined it because we all kind of closed off our offices and we weren't allowing people in. But yeah, you got to get on the phone and call the orthodontist, ask what they want. Some will only say 19, some will say 18. There's no strict rule. Give your personal dentist a call, give your orthodontist a call, and see if you can get in.
Could I just add that all of the schools have student success coaches that help with internships? So if their family dentist is willing to take them on and you get in touch with your student success coach, they can turn it into an internship for credit. So there's 30-hour internships and then there's 60-hour ones. So several students have done that where they had a family member or a friend in an area that they wanted to shadow, and they were able to connect it with their school through D214, and they got an internship for credit.
Great. All right, I think we answered all the questions, you guys. So if we're getting there, and there's another, I think the next session starts at 7. I just want oh, hold on, one more message. Oh, they're just thanking us, everybody. So thank you all. And I was going to say the same thing. So thank you for the good chat. Thank you for your interest in the health sciences pathway at District 214. And panelists, I could not thank you more. I really appreciate you. Have a wonderful evening.